Hi, class. This is Sal Rodriguez, and this is my self-evaluation video. My agenda will be the class background, the day 1, week 4, week 8, week 11, and last day of class. And in each of those days, we will have a self-evaluation and also a lessons learned for each of those days. The class background is basically an adult ESL level 1 class from the Woodland Baptist Church. My students were 3 adults. We were about the same age. One of them is a classic level 1 beginner. She did read at a level 2 or 3. She's been in the U.S. over 8 years. My other 2 students, they were intermediate to advanced, like level 2, maybe 3. They're listening and speaking. They were at level 1 or 2. It varied on certain points of a topic or a word. And they've been here about 20 years or more. Our textbooks that we've used is a Ventures book, level 1. There's 10 units, and it has a student book and a workbook. And the videos will total about 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Day 1, we had difficulties in an introduction piece, the alphabet. Because it's the first day, we were having a hard time trying to figure out what I want them to do or what I'm asking them to do. And we had difficulties apparently trying to use the chat feature with Zoom. Here's the video.
Why do you want to learn English? Why do you want to learn English? Why are you learning English?
1 years. Sometimes something interesting about you. No, what I Google. Google.
Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to talk about the alphabet, which is the basic structure of English language is the alphabet. We're going to do the numbers as well. And then we're going to do get to know some words as well. Okay. And we're going to have activities. So for now, like Chow Chow, what letter is this?
Apple. Apple.
What letter?
Apple.
What letter? What letter? Okay, normally it's A.
No, sorry. A.
Okay, I is when you go to the dentist and they say like that. But A is for apple, right? Apple.
Apple. Apple. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go through these, all of them, to make sure we get it right. It's not video, the chat. Right here, the bottom, there's a chat.
check 检查，怎么不行啊？
I'll tell you what, it's okay. What I'll do is I'll send you a link for instructions on how to get to the chat, okay? And then how to type. Is that okay? I'll send.
The self-evaluation for day 1. My communication needs improvement. I could have used Google Translate since day 1. I need to close the gap with the communication barriers. There are a lot of them. I have to find the things that bind us. Google Translate is one of them. We all want to learn English as a second language. Coffee is a big one. And like I said, we are the same age, so that kind of helps. Our love of our family, as the semester went, a lot of our discussions were about family and holidays and things like that. One thing that I should do, and I did, was socialize before class in English, and that helps. Lessons learned before week 4. Of course, Google Translate, the glue that holds the class together. Without that, I don't know how we would have done it. My level 2 students, they help my level 1 student by setting examples. For example, if I had a question or concern, or I wanted something done on an activity, I would first ask my level 2 students, and then I would ask my level 1 student, and then my level 2 student after that. Like I said, we drink coffee and tea. It's one of the things that gets us motivated, and it sets the tone and the pace. And I highly encouraged it. And in some of the videos, you might see me drink coffee, or one of the students. We just have that thing about coffee or tea. This is week 4. This is where I put the entire student book on a PDF. The first 2 days, I used the book a little bit, but it was not as good with this digital age, because in PDF, I can annotate and doodle the heck out of it. And it's a great visual.
Can you say it's a count because why? Why do you think? Why do you think it's a count?
Are many apples?
Yes, and you
Self-evaluation for week 4. Workbook supplements, they work well for the daily lessons. I have them for homework. I sometimes point to them during class, but mainly homework. Quizlet, they're great for supplementing the difficult lessons for homework, and then during the weekend, I put a lot in there, and they just go in there and they practice. Breakout rooms, they don't work good with 3 students. I'd rather just ask them in the class without using breakout rooms. I think by doing that, the social concept works well with all of them. Direct teaching approach is ideal for level 1 class, because it's hard to explain or ask a level 1 student in English to do something. Google Translate works, but it's limited sometimes when an activity needs to be done a certain way. Lessons learned before week 8. Continued review of previous lessons are effective. We always hit the previous lessons that we hit, especially on a Monday. We hit what we learned the week before. Again, the direct teaching approach works great for level 1. Of course, that's not the only approach that I use. The oral approach for alphabet, new vocabulary, and the after book lessons is ideal, because there were only 10 units. Lexical approach was great when we started building work chunks, so we can create simple sentences, which was not in the book, but I wanted to do a little more than just the book. This is week 8, the videos about building new vocabulary. The listen feature, that little speaker icon at the bottom of Google Translate, it pays dividends. Man, you'll hear it. Building and reading simple sentences. that is an amazing feat that these students did. Okay, this is hard. Let's see, what is this?
This is
No, 不知道。Not.
casco.
Casco.
Helmet.
Yeah,
Helmet.
咖啡，
helmet.
咖啡，
Helmet
什么东西？
for your head.
Helmet.
For your head. For your head. For your
那
right.
HEI
Helmet.
teacher okay teacher teacher name Spanish
Okay, H-E-L
ELT
L-E-T.
helmet.
Helmet.
Who is helmet?
Casco.
For your head.
Casco.
Casco.
Casco de cabeza.
Yeah,
HMET
helmet.
Helmet.
什么东西？
Okay,
戴头上呢？
well, this is what
Yes.
we need to practice on. So I'm sure in Chinese and Spanish, you have the same indicators in that language, right?
量词的通用和最基本的规则是少于50%的比例称为很少或很少，如果正好在中间，则称为一些；如果超过50%，则称为最高。我敢肯定，在中文和西班牙文中，该语言的指标相同。
Okay.
今天早上喝咖啡，请阅读。
Well,
Oh,
okay.
okay. I drink coffee.
Okay, so,
I ready?
okay, so
Ready?
Xiao, you want to go first?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Family dragon ram to Sanborn sentence. My brother is angry. He
Yeah.
is funny.
Uh-huh.
My mama is short.
Yeah.
She is smart.
Yeah, smart, yeah.
My daddy is tall.
Uh-huh.
He is handsome.
Oh, that's a good word, yeah.
Handsome. My sister is smart.
Yeah, good.
She is
The self-evaluation for week 8, as you saw, the funny thing is, as we did week 8, it's good that we built up to a certain point with those simple sentences that you saw at the end. We scaffolded a lot with that. The flashcards were great. As you can see, there are some words that we had difficulty with, and I just set them to the side for the next day so we can work on them. Sometimes the picture, like the helmet, I don't know, maybe they could have done a better visual for helmet. And I could have used Google Translate for difficult words. For some reason, I just felt the visual and the spelling of the word would help. Keep using the listen feature, but I could have used it in Spanish, but I think for the most part in this semester, because I also speak Spanish, I can easily translate right away. But for the most part, the Spanish-speaking students, I didn't have issue with understanding most of the things. Very few times they asked in Spanish, and I translated in Spanish or explained in Spanish. Scaffolding, the students did a great job because they were just motivated, they were just motivated because I think when we finished the book after unit 10, they were motivated to get out of that format and then get into like building sentences and just learning, getting new vocabulary, things like that. Lessons learned before week 11 and the last day. Uh, Throughout the whole semester, the students were just highly motivated. They wanted to learn. They kept pushing to learn more. Where we just got to a point where they wanted to write complex sentences in English. They my level 2 students, they kind of knew how to do it, but I think they wanted to learn a little more about it. Again, the great scaffolding that we did to the end product, where an assignment that we had was to write a message to the mayor about the good, the bad, and recommendations. And 2 students actually got great feedback from the mayor's office. One of them, the next day, the maintenance crew came out to her house or to her street, and they fixed whatever problem she had on the street. It was an amazing thing. It worked great. And of course, scaffolding was not just me. The help with their family and friends with complex sentences, that helped like 60% of it. But the simple sentences was just us in class trying to get them motivated. And they were highly motivated for that. Digital storytelling, it pays dividends. It brings out their attention, the listening and speaking with natural English conversations. As we talked, they had a lot of questions. The two big ones that we did were the blue bonnets, not to run into a blue bonnet field because there could be snakes and things like that. And the road runners, they're fun to look at, but they didn't know a lot of things about it. And also don't kill them because they can get in trouble. Simple conversation starters, something as simple as saying, hey, what did you do today? What did you have breakfast today? Also, because we learned in the book, like directions, I had a good conversation with the students, like from downtown, where is your house? You know, and they just started telling me from the mileage, the distance to the highway, things like that. It was pretty good. Week 11, we had an Uno. I mean, we've had Uno card game throughout the semester, but throughout the semester, I've only used it like 4 times. I didn't use it as much. I should have used it more. Number 3. So name 2 places where you can park your car.
Yes,
So we'll translate that, help you.
yes,
Name 2 places where you can park your car.
yeah,
Name 2 places where you can
命
park
名
your
2
car.
个可以停放汽车的地方。
park， 还有 store
At the store, okay.
parking
Yeah, at the store, right?
store parking school
Parking
parking
lot? Store
yes
parking lot.
store parking
Okay, yeah.
lot
You want more?
school
School parking lot.
parking lot
Okay. The self-evaluation for this, as you can see, the lady that was speaking, she was my level 1 student. She has had a hard time speaking English, but throughout the semester, this is week 11, she has progressed from day 1. You saw the day 1 video to now, where there's an improvement. You can tell, but she didn't quit, right? She kept going, and as I typed, we kind of made it together, right, to what she was trying to say, and finished the question, which is more important. Language learning games, the language learning games use needs improvement. I could have done better with using it. It would have helped a little more too. Could have done better with showing new vocabulary or difficult words before activities and games. What I mean by that is like that Uno game, I could have had like a list of new vocabulary that we were going to talk about in the activity. I could have done that better to not surprise them, if you will. The Uno game works great if you use it right, and as you can see with the numbers and the questions, there's tons of questions, and it gets them activated in speaking English. The continued use of Google Translate with language learning games. Again, the vocabulary, new vocabulary to get in there and explain it. As you saw, I typed the question because I knew she did not understand, not a lot, but like half of it. This is the last day of class. This video is our holiday conversation starters. My goal for this last day of class for Wes is just to sit back a little bit, right? We had a little grammar test, but that was easy with the class, no problem. But the big one was just we sat down, we talked about the holidays and things like that. What do you do? And we talked about Thanksgiving meals and when Thanksgiving is and Christmas and all that. But this one is about Thanksgiving, I think.
We do the same. So Jorge, when do you put up your Christmas tree?
Sorry, Christmas tree.
We put the Christmas tree in Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, yeah. We do too. We do.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, before. Thanksgiving before when we.
So Thanksgiving Day.
Yes, 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 yes.
We like to put it up.
As you can see, my level 2 student, I use him and then her as well, Maria, my other level 2. I use them first, or I ask them first, so I can engage my level 1 student, like an understanding where the example was set, and she quickly picks up on it, as you can see. And that's how we start the conversations. Holiday starters, who doesn't love the holidays? It's a great thing. We just sat down and talked, great for listening and speaking activities. You can talk about anything about the holidays, it gets everybody engaged. Even though level 2, level 3 students understood me, I could have made better with the Google Translate in Spanish, even though they understood me, not all the time, but most of the time. But they easily asked me in Spanish, and I responded with what question they had in Spanish. But again, I could have used it a little more. And we were all sad to see that we were all sad that we couldn't meet in person. That was the sad part at the end, because Zoom is nice, but it's not as socially effective as meeting in person. My overall self-evaluation, again, like I said earlier, I could have started on Google Translate since day one. That could have helped. I could have had an even use of Google Translate of Chinese and Spanish. I could have easily pressed Spanish tab and the Chinese tab either way. A great use of my stronger students to set them as an example. Ask one of them first, and then ask my level 1 student second, and then ask my other level 2 student to help my level 1 student. Because after all, it is a level 1 class. Direct approach works great for level 1 for the Venture student book. It's direct. You show what they have. They have a guideline to go by and all those things. So it works good. One thing that I liked about this class is because we're all like the same age, we're adults. We all like coffee or tea, you know, more coffee than tea. And we just socialized or talked before class, even though it was still class, but we talked in English. It always set the tone. It always set the motivation, you know, for the upcoming lessons for that day. It's just that little thing that you say, hey, good morning. How are you today? How's everything? You know, how's your daughter? You know, or how's your dog? You know, about the weather, you know, or once in a while, they will, like Maria will point out, hey, we had 192 cases, you know, so we're dropping, things like that, right? That we talk, you can call it small talk, if you will, but it was all in English. And even my level 1 student, of course, she spoke English. That was the rule. But even the hard words, she talked and talked until we helped her. Mainly my level 2 students helped her, you know, and figure out. And then we just, as a whole, we just talked in English. It worked very well. Digital storytelling, I'm telling you, it works great. Bring up the website, Google search, and all those things, you know, and just start talking. You know, we did quite a few of them. We talked about Space Force, which was pretty awesome. You know, we talked about several things. We just got us started in the listening and speaking activities. Like I said, conversation starters are great. Flashcards. Flashcards are great. They're a great visual, as you saw. Just pop them in the camera, and they get it. You know, the vocabulary words, the alphabet, the numbers. And amazingly enough, this was interesting because one of my lessons I did was value words. You know, like let's say if you were doing some kind of review for a restaurant or a location or a business. I mean, this is kind of how I started the lesson, and then, you know, how professionals would evaluate their employees, things like that, and how we talk to our family and friends to praise them and not praise them. Value words was an interesting subject. It was like one entire, like, it's a 2-hour class. After we socialized, it was like an hour and a half class of value words. It was interesting. Other than that, I think I did not great, but I think I did okay. I could have done better. Many things I could have done better with this class. The big advantage is that they're adults, so they come with a lot of knowledge. So it wasn't complicated for us to start talking, you know. Even my level 1 student, we just started talking and she was always motivated to talk. Like at the beginning, she's wanted to say hi and good morning. And one thing that we also learned as a class, like in Chinese, how to say good morning and how to say good morning in Spanish. So my Spanish speaking students, we had a rule. They would say "Sashan hao" in Chinese to say good morning. And my level 1 student who speaks Chinese would say "Buenos dias," like that. So it was interesting. Like I said, if we were from different generations, it might have gone a different way. Not sure, but yeah, there you go. That concludes my self-evaluation video. Hope you liked it. Merry Christmas.